Hello guys and welcome to Zoe Photography. So in this video is the ultimate webcam action camera webcam video. In the aim to find out which action camera is right for you as a webcam, I've got these examples. This is a straightforward view of the cameras as webcams, and it shows you without lights and also with lights what the differences will be on the cameras. So let's have a look at these. So you may have seen already in the starting there, I gave you an overview of what the cameras look like. These are the cameras. I'm going to show you them individually, and I want you to get a better understanding of should you use an action camera as a webcam and what are the benefits. There's loads out there, cheap ones and expensive ones. You can see my setup here briefly. That's where the camera is going to always be in my test. So I've got a tripod set up. I'm basically switching out the cameras so we get an exact same view, so you can see how wide it is, for example. So that's where I'm shooting from, into this direction. So I'll be speaking there in the tests. And so it's only fair, we're looking at action cameras and webcams, that we include a webcam in our lineup. So you'll see here I actually have a webcam that I'm going to test as well, to give you an idea of what we're comparing against. So why not just buy a webcam? Let's have a look at the quality of this webcam and see what you think. Okay, so now we're looking at an actual webcam. This is the Advent 1080p webcam. So it's an actual webcam, a cheap budget webcam, between £20 you can pick this up. This is the quality you can expect to receive from it. It's plugged in via its own connected USB, and it comes up at 1080p full resolution. You'll notice that the audio is not synced great. So I'm noticing that this camera, actually there is a bit of a lag. So if I was to try and adjust that, because I have a sneaky suspicion that this camera is not a 1080p camera, I think it's a 720p camera. And if I adjust the 720p to a smaller screen, you'll see it looks a bit nicer there. So that's 720p in the settings. However, when you plug it in, it does come up as 1080. Let me put some lights on. Okay, so that's with some lights on. Also, you'll notice it's a bit more zoomed in. So the other action cameras are designed to be wide angle. This is a bit more zoomed in, so it actually gives you a nicer, tighter crop. So if I go back to the settings, I put it at 1080p again with the better lighting. Let's see how that looks. But I can see there's a delay in audio, so we need to sync in our software to add a manual adjustment to resync the audio. This probably looks terrible because the audio and things are not synced, but I want to show you this as you would get it out of the box. So I don't want you to have to do loads of adjustments if you just want a camera, basically. So that was the Advent webcam used as a webcam. So that was webcam quality. To give you an idea, that's what the box looks like. So if you do see it online, that is an Advent HD webcam PC one, and it was at 1080p. You saw there that it was a bit more cropped in, so like a different view, but it was interesting. It's good to keep an eye on these kind of things. So I'm hoping you found this one useful. Let's have a look at the next one. Not any particular order. Actually, yeah, there is an order. That is the first one we're going to check. It's a Vibe 1080p action camera. That's how it appears in the box. I'm looking over there because I have my screen set up so I can see exactly what you see. That's the camera, and that's the camera there. 1080p action camera. Let's have a look at the quality and see what we think. Okay, so I'm basically showing the Vibe 1080p action camera. This is a sample footage of the 1080p action camera plugged in as a webcam. You'll note, based on the screen size you're seeing now, it's not actually 1080p. On webcam, it's actually 720p. You can fix that if you're using some type of software by doing what I'm doing now, which is dragging the screen out. But remember, that means you're making a 720p video picture into a 1080p. So you're stretching the pixels out. This is what you can expect to see based on no lighting, really. Just one skylight, like normal lights you would expect to use. And yeah, this is one of the cheapo cameras. So I'm using a separate mic. Let me put some lights on so you can see exactly how it would look with some decent lights. It'll take a moment to auto adjust because the compensation for the light. That's what you can expect when you've got lights on. If you've got good lights, you can see there's a good improvement in the quality just by putting some lights on. So we'll talk about lights in a separate segment, but this is the Vibe 1080p action camera plugged in via micro USB, and webcam can only be used at 1280 by 720. So we had a look at that Vibe 1080p action camera right now. You can see it's one of the budget options. In America, they're known as Vibe, and there's another name for it, a HD camera. I did a separate video about these essential they call it, but you'll see the quality was acceptable. If you're using it for school or college or stuff, then there's nothing wrong with that. I would be happy to use that. If it's more important for like creative work, then you want to think about what you want to do with it. But for that purpose, I reckon it was okay. That was the vibe. Okay, so next up, we're going to look at the Goodmans action camera. The Goodmans is the one I've had the longest, and I've been happy with it, to be honest. It gives good overall quality as a webcam and action camera, and the best thing about it is when you plug it in, it goes straight to webcam mode if there's no memory card in it. Whereas the Vibe camera that we looked at, you have to physically select it in the back of the menu. So for example, if you had this camera set up further away with a long cable, then you don't have to physically go over there and turn it on. You'll be ready to shoot. That's what it looks like if you're looking to buy it. I know it's tricky to pick up these Goodmans action cameras right now because they're more in the UK. So you find a bargain, pick it up. You get it for about, I got it for £15. It's saying £24.99 there, but it's not that price. So that's going to be the Goodmans. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so this is the Goodmans action camera. It's a 1080p action camera. I'm using it via plugged in USB, and this is also a 1080p action camera for recording 1080p video, but when you use it as a webcam, it only gives you 1280 by 720, which you can see in the screen right now. You can get around that by pulling it up and stretching it to a 1080p video. This is without any lights. I've just got a ceiling light on, so standard lighting. Goodmans you can use straight away. You plug in the USB. If there's no memory card in there, it will show up as a PC webcam, and you can use it without a battery. So that's a quick look at that. Let me turn some lights on. So now we've turned some lights on. It'll take a moment to auto adjust, and that's the quality you can get with some lighting. So you can see how that performs with light, without light. Is it what you want? Remember, these are budget cheap cameras which you can buy on most sites now, and this will be the lower end of the budget. So I'll leave you some links you can check out, but this is an example of the Goodmans action camera and how it can perform as a webcam for live streaming, video conferencing, anything like that. The Goodmans is the one I've used the longest. There are some other options which I'm going to come on to next. Okay, so you can see why I like the Goodmans action camera. It's actually an overall good performer at a cheap budget price. So if you picked up 3 of these, you'll have a great multi-angle shot. Now, what else? There's another camera that's come into play, which is still a good price at £40. Let's have a look at that one next. So now we're looking at the Apeman A77 action camera. It performs okay. I was actually surprised at the quality. You'll see them side by side. I'll do a little comparison, just each camera, so you can see the video, because now you're having this cut in between where I'm speaking about the cameras. But overall, this was a good camera. The 720p webcam option, and let's see how that looks like. Okay, so this is the Apeman A77 being used via the micro USB cable as a webcam. It's an action camera, but I'm using it as a webcam, and the quality you're seeing right now is the 1080p action camera. No, it's 4K action camera. It records at 4K at 30 frames a second for video, but when you're using it as a webcam for streaming or doing this type of thing, it's actually going to be lower quality because it's only 720p, 1080, no, 1280, no, is it? 720 by 1280, yeah, that's right, isn't it? 1280 by 720. Okay, so this is the camera at the 720p resolution via the webcam. As you can see with the previous 2 examples, this one you can stretch out in your software to make it fill the screen. It's got a bit of a yellow tinge, which is very unusual. So when you plug it in, you can't actually change the settings. It's just default PC camera, but I think there's an auto compensation there. Let me put some lights on. You can see the quality with some lights on and how it readjusts its calibration. You will notice that they're adjusted just then. It's a wider view, which is a good thing. So if you're looking for a couple of angles, this is one of the budget range options in their cameras. So if you want it a bit wider, this might be a good option if you're showing like a desk scene or you're doing something on your computer desk. So that's an example of that. And yeah, Apeman A77 4K action camera, but when you use it as a webcam, you will only get 720p, similar to the other 2 budget options, but this is a 4K, a true 4K, so you can use it for multi-purposes. So that's an example of the video footage and I'll give you a side by side so you can see how it compares. Okay, so you can see the Apeman new action cameras are a budget camera. You can pick them up between 30 and 40 pounds UK. Links in the description for all of the cameras I'm talking about, and the USB quality is there, as well as a HDMI out. So I might do a separate one for HDMI outs because that involves a bit more work because you need a HDMI capture card. So that was the Apeman. Okay, next I'm going to show you the Apeman A87 action camera. Now this one is one of the premium design cameras. It comes in a lovely case like that, and it comes with a host of accessories, which is actually quite handy if you're giving it as a gift or something. So I would look at that, but it depends on your budget. If you've got under £40, get the A77, you'll be fine. You'll be happy with that. If it's important that you do 1080p webcam usage, this does do 1080p. You'll see this in the footage coming up. Okay, so this camera now you're looking at is the A87 Apeman action camera used as a webcam. The good thing here, you'll see when we start it up, it actually is a 1080p. So you can use it as a webcam at the full 1080p resolution, so you can see it filled that screen automatically, whereas the past three cameras we looked at, we had to stretch out the 720p canvas of the image. So this is what you can expect. I also like the fact that it's extra wide. You can see compared to the last one, we got an extra wide feel of it, so you're getting more of what's in the environment, which can also be a good thing or a bad thing. So depending on what you're using it for. Let's put some lights on. So now everything will readjust, hopefully slightly bright. But yeah, this gives you an example of what the quality will be like if you readjust it. And while I'm keeping the camera in the same position, so it gives you an idea of how wide and narrow it gets. And while we're on this camera, let me do you a quick example. You might be wondering what this is. This was a cheap 4K action camera that I bought from eBay, which also makes up the lineup of our cameras that I'm demonstrating. I can't demonstrate it because I've taken it apart because I was interested to see what they actually put in the camera. It was a 4K that was not a 4K. Cheap one off eBay is about 11 or 12 pounds. And I thought, you can't sell a 4K for 11 or 12 pounds. It surely costs more than that to make. Because I bought my cheap 1080p ones for like 20 pounds. So that didn't make sense. So basically they're rebranding cameras as fake cameras. So be careful when you're buying your camera. Don't buy ultra cheap ones with no name brands. The box looks like that off eBay. They're basically generic ones. They go about 10 or 11 pounds or $15 or something like that, but the quality is just terrible. I'll see if I can find a clip of this test I did ages ago. I was just shocked. You'll see how shocked I was from this clip. Again, this was the 4K A87 at 1080p. I think that's our lineup. I might do another test of the additional camera, which will be the kind of premium one. So watch the next clip for that. Okay, so I'm hoping you found the A87 footage interesting there. You can see it gave us a full screen and the quality was acceptable, more than acceptable. I was pleased with it. It also does 4K at 60 frames a second. So if you use it as a camera, like an action camera for recording, it's got good options there. It comes with image stabilization as well, a version of it in Apeman's quality. I'll do a separate video about that, so you can check that out. But you know, I like action cameras on this channel and using them in different ways, so you'll find some of my other stuff interesting if you like this video. But my main aim now is to help you get the right camera for what you want it to be for. Have a look at all the qualities and you'll be interested. The last action camera, move that out the way. So this is the A100 Apeman action camera. It's a premium design. This is out of its waterproof case. That's what the waterproof case looks like. So I put it on my tripod, and actually this one I wasn't able to get to work via USB. So micro USB on the side, it was bugging out. So I decided to use a HDMI capture card and a HDMI lead. So it's not USB, but I want to give you an example of what the quality looks like via HDMI. Remember, this one is a micro HDMI because the action cameras have a smaller plug to HDMI, which basically plugged in to my USB device like that. That plugs into my computer, and this end plugs into the HDMI of the action camera, like in the right direction, like that. So that goes into your computer, and now you'll see what this looks like. Okay, so this is the view of the Apeman A100. However, we are using this in a bit of a different setup. We're using it via the HDMI out into a HDMI capture card. Good news, we're getting full 1080p. And it comes out actually quite good. There's three options. Let me put lights on. You can see how it performs with lights. It'll auto adjust There's a few field of view options on this camera. Because this is the premium range, you can have a wide, which is what we've got now. I'll show you the medium and the close, and that actually does some differences with how well the image quality looks, because it is designed. If you see the information I'll put up, hopefully at some point you'll see the specs on this camera and what it can do, but I'm giving you a video example basically right now. So let me adjust this to the next field of view. To support this video, I've got a link in the description to my mailing list. Make sure to sign up to that and you'll get an instant email with help sheets, guides and frequently asked questions which will help you get through this journey. I would have liked if the field of view worked in the HDMI, because I've gone through the different options and it didn't. But this is a view of the Apeman A100 at 1080p via HDMI out. So you can see this camera was superior in quality. I'm hoping that helps you out. If you liked this content, make sure to subscribe and you get future notifications from me. I'm doing a whole host of tests on action cameras because at the moment it's hard to get webcams. So let's make the best of what we've got. And if you're surprised, I'm using the actual camcorder right now to record this. Let's have a look at, well, you can see the quality of the camcorder via HDMI. Another one of these cheap cards I'm using there. And also I use a camera like this, and that is actually using the EOS webcam utility tool. So if you have a DSLR camera, you can make that a webcam. This is the quality you'll get. It's not excellent, it's 720p, but it's stretched out and it kind of looks okay. I like the background blur and it looks a bit different. So that's the different options, and you've got bonus look there. Now you saw the camcorder view and now you've seen the DSLR view, as well as all the action cameras that I showed you and the webcam. So let's think about that.